guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you step by step how to paint this fantasy landscape. This is a 12 by 18 stretched canvas. It's an older painting. Again, I've been doing this a lot lately. I'm just priming over, repurposing an old painting just with black paint. Any black paint that you have will be fine. You just want to make sure that it's dry before you begin. So we're going to be using a large blending brush, whatever. You don't have to have this size, just something large to cover a big area. So we'll be using light blue violet, magenta, neon red, yellow, turquoise, white, sap green, black, burnt sienna, and some gold. If you don't have gold, you can use yellow ochre. And I'm going to pick up some white, just some white first with a bit of yellow. And I'm going to begin creating some light here for the background. Nice. So just nice soft strokes like this. Okay, I'm going to pick up some more yellow, a little bit of sap green, and just come in from the side here. Pick up some more of that. And around the top. I'm really enjoying these fantasy worlds in like an oval or roundish shape in the center. I think they're just so fun to make, and I think you guys are really enjoying these too. I'm sure getting a lot of comments and pictures from you guys over on Instagram. And I just want to say thank you so much for trying my tutorials and for all the support you guys are showing me on my channel. It means a lot. I'm going to switch over to another brush now. Now this is a Princeton 1-inch, here. Oh, it's an oval mop. There you go. I want to take more white. This time I'm going to pick up just a little bit of that neon red. I'm going to start pulling it in, giving a pinky tone to the background, layered over that light yellow that we added there. I'm going to be a little bit bolder now and add a bit more of that. Now I think I want the shape to come out and be a little bit wider right here. I'm going to try and create like some kind of ornate frame around. I thought that would be kind of neat, and though it's hard to describe, you'll see in a few minutes as it progresses, but I've got an idea, a picture in my mind of what it's going to look like. Softly blend that in. So soft little taps like this, and then light blending. I'm kind of liking this bit of, I'm seeing some landscape start to come to life, and that will happen, you'll notice, when you don't have a picture you're working from, you don't have a reference photo, you're just kind of painting intuitively. You'll start to see an image, and that's when your imagination will just kind of take off and your painting will transform into its own thing. Okay, so I'm going to take some of my black and some of my green, and I'm going to create a little curl up there. Working around the side like this. You know, a round brush would probably work really well too. And you can start making it look like there's vines. Maybe we've got like a vine frame Just kind of wrapping around. And I'm just winging it here, guys. It's going to be whatever it is. Just letting the ideas flow. You can pick up a little bit of water if your brush is not letting that paint flow nicely. You might need just a little bit. I'll pick up a little bit more green and a little bit of yellow this time. And just add little highlights on this line, make it show up a little bit better. We'll do the same thing over here. Just pull and twist and wrap it around. Maybe we've got some birds in here. So just keep building on. Don't hesitate. Trust in your brush and your imagination and those ideas. They're coming into your mind for a reason. You need to trust your intuition, guys. So it's like a really pretty twisted braided look. And again, I'm just taking yellow and white. I've got a little bit of green that because I'm painting wet on wet, I'm picking up a little bit of that paint each time. And I think I want to add, I'm seeing some trees in here, so I think I'm going to go with that idea. Before I change my mind, I'll pick up my yellowy green and a little bit of burnt sienna, maybe even a bit of gold. Let's not overblend too much. A bit of water. And just start pulling out and wiggling with the very tip of your brush. A little bit like that, and then take some more gold. I'm going to have this tree root kind of mixing in and twisting around with the other vines, so it kind of is all coming together. Take a little bit of white, yellow, and gold, just because I want to make this, like I said, blend in. And then I'm going to grab one of my pretty little mop brushes that I recently got out of my set of crystal brushes. They're just makeup brushes. And I'm going to take a little bit of yellow, a little bit of sap green, a bit of white, and I just accidentally picked up a little bit of pink, and I'm going to just see what happens. So a little bit like that is quite pretty. Maybe we'll have some more bushes right in here. This brush is just so much fun, so I'm just going to keep using it while I have this color on here, and it's just creating the most beautiful, easy, carefree little bushes in here. Take a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white, do that again, and start adding a little bit in here. I'm going to take a little bit more green, green with my yellow, just have some. I gotta switch over to my other hand now. There, hopefully you guys can see that better. Look at how we just can bring this up and have it go right in to the painting. Just sweep it in there. So easy to create these magical fantasy landscapes, guys, and it's a lot of fun. That's why I wanted to start YouTube, so I've been teaching in a classroom for many, many years, but I wanted to reach the most people that I could, and so I decided to do YouTube so that I could share this with you guys. Now what if maybe there's some water down here. Just a little bit of water, a little pool down here, natural pool. I'm just going to take a little bit of my black and sap green and maybe have some darker branches in here. I just love adding foliage around the sides, creating that beautiful frame and feeling like we could just step into this magical world. Maybe this smaller one here, and sorry guys, these are not numbered. I think it's because they're makeup brushes. But I don't really think that numbers are important when talking about brushes. You guys can see if I'm using a small brush or medium-sized brush or a large brush. I personally never paid attention to numbered brushes when learning to paint. So it just goes to show you it doesn't really, I think people learning to paint focus too much attention on what kind of brushes, like what size of brushes they think they need. That's not important. It's the technique and the color mixing. So let's just bring this. I see this shape here. It's kind of a sweeping shape, so I'm going to exaggerate my branches and my tree to kind of go with that, because it creates a feeling that I like. Very whimsical. Scum a little bit out here. Probably going to have a little bit of water obviously coming down in here. Like you guys are surprised, probably just waiting for me to add my waterfalls in. You know I'm going to do that. Just want to add little bits of pretty spring-like yellowy green bushes back here. Just tap to go with the shape of some of these swirls and vines that we have. So I'm going to take more gold this time with a little bit of that burnt sienna. And it doesn't show up, like it's a little bit too light right now, so I want to take a little bit more of that. The burnt sienna. If you don't have burnt sienna, just use any warm brown. If you don't have a warm brown, take some red or orange, and then you can make one. You just mix a warm red, orange to a dark brown. More gold. And maybe we've got some branches in here. Don't think too much about it, just wiggle and hardly touch the canvas. Very light. And we can come in here with, well, we've got this bit of gold, we'll pick up a bit of yellow and white, and we can add a little bit more shape to these. Maybe stand out a little bit more curl in here, make it smaller, which is much easier to use a liner brush for that. I love using the gold because from different angles or when the light hits it, you get that beautiful soft shimmer. Now I like to have a little bit of phthalo blue in the water. It's kind of my thing. I really love that color. And I've got a Amsterdam phthalo blue. So I'm going to take some of that blue just with a bit of white so it shows up a bit more, just a little bit. And I'm going to come in from the side here. And so the water's still going to be green, but it's going to have a cool tone to it, and a little bit of that phthalo blue, which is so pretty. I'm just kind of eyeing up where my waterfall is going to be dropping from and where I'm going to incorporate the horse. I'll pick up a little bit more yellow and white. I've got that blue on my brush. I'm going to let that blend. Back to my blending brush here. I'm just going to sweep, again barely touching the canvas. Just going to flick up lightly like that. Just so I have an idea, giving myself an idea here of where I want my waterfall to come down. I really want this to be a light waterfall, kind of see-through, because I love this swirl in here and I don't want to cover that up too much. So I'm going to do this very carefully. I'm going to take yellow, some turquoise, a little bit of blue, a little bit of white. And I want to make it really watered down first to see if that does the trick. And I want to tap this out so that it kind of separates. There we go. So they're kind of in sections like that. And I think we'll have a little bit of water coming right down like that. So not too much, right guys? We're just gonna have a little bit. Take a little bit of white now. Wash off my brush. It's clean, a little bit damp, and separate it again. So we can still see that swirl in there. And a little bit of light green in there, which is really soft and pretty. So I've got a little bit of turquoise, white on my brush. And I'm just going to do a few little gentle taps here where the water's dripping from, or hitting, I mean. And then you can also flick up a little bit. And it's okay if they're a little wiggly because that just adds to that movement of that water falling. So with a clean little flat brush, not that numbers matter, but this is a 6. And just soften this up a little bit. In fact, what I'm going to use to really soften that up is another one of my brand new brushes. So it's really, really gentle, very nice hair. I don't know what kind of hair it is. It feels like velvet, to be honest. It's super, super soft. So by doing a little dusting and softly blending over this, you get that natural little spray down at the bottom. I would like to add, I think, just a little bit more pink up here. So I'm going to take my pink mixture, well, it's neon red with white, and I'm going to add a little bit right in here. A little bit more. More of the pink this time. And then soften I'm going to go back to a liner brush. This is a number 1. I'm going to take my green, a little bit of black, and a little bit of yellow. Let's bring back these little lines in here. Get a bit of water on my brush so that flows easier. We could add another little swirl in there too. Which, like I said, some of this might get covered up with the horse. I think I'm going to add a little bit of magenta flowers down in here, just very subtle. So we'll tap in using a little Filbert brush. Maybe tuck just tuck a little bit right in there. And then to make it show up better, I like to use some of my light blue violet. Blend the two together slightly and you get a really, really pretty highlight. So just a little hint of color in there. Because these colors are complementary with green. Okay, something like that, and then maybe just for a little bit of extra color, incorporate a little bit of that blue and magenta in that swirl there. Bit here. Sometimes just the slightest bit of blue for a little shadow on your tree trunks is quite nice. I'm taking a little bit of phthalo with that bit of magenta and light blue violet. A bit down here. There's a few little stones. So I'm envisioning the horse right about here. And don't worry guys, I'm going to make it super simple and easy so you can all follow along. When painting figures or animals, the best thing to do, the best way of approaching them is by breaking it down into shapes. So tell yourself you're not painting a horse, you're just painting, you know, a little square for part of the body or the head, or if you see a triangle for the ear, then just say you're painting a little triangle and you're going to place it right there. So this is the best advice I can give you guys because I have found it very difficult. It's not something that comes naturally to me like landscapes do, but sometimes I really just need to incorporate an animal or a figure in my paintings because I have it envisioned, and so that's the easiest way that I have found over the years and through teaching to be able to do it. So I'm going to take just a little bit of black and white, make a nice light gray color. And I'll begin right about here. So I'm going to do this little triangle right now for the ear. Then I'm going to go and do a little oval like that. And then a rectangle. And then it's going to go around for the head and the neck. Oh, there's just some lines like that. And we're not going to see the whole horse. It's just going to be coming out. Kind of just out from the side here. Take a little bit more black now. Paint inside the ear. And just make this head a little bit bigger and darker. Start pulling in between these lines, and we're going to go up. We'll have his or her hair all in here. This down here, I'm just going to have like some bushes and flowers and stuff, so you don't have to worry about painting the rest of the body. So just follow along every step I do, where I'm adding black, his eyes right there. And then we're doing dark here first in order for the highlights and his hair to show up much better. So a few pieces of hair that come down here. And then a bit of a softer tone on his skin. Pick up some white. Right here is the sun. Going to be hitting a little patch right there. his hair. I will be switching over to a liner brush for more of his hair, but I just want to do a few larger chunks with this brush first. Adding more light here, so light gray and white, and then a slight, see how it scoops? There's a sweep to his back. I'm going to increase the highlight here on his back and use more white. I'll come down in a scoop like this, and then it's going to come over, and there's going to be a few little lines just to indicate so you can get the roundness of his body. With a little bit more of a softer gray color here, so you can just scumble in that white. It's probably still gonna be wet paint underneath, so you can blend that in. So just taking a little bit of white and a little bit of water, I'm gonna go from right up here and slant. Oh yeah, that's a lot easier. And then soften slightly. See how easy that is? But I'm going to use my liner brush just to do a few bits of gold hair on him, like I said. So you want, in order for the gold to really show up, you want to take a little bit of white with it. So I'm going to take sap green and yellow, a little bit of white, so it kind of looks pretty messy on there. A little bit of water on the bottom. Little bits of grass like that. I'm going to go to my smallest Filbert brush I have. It's a 0. I'm going to take my blue violet. I have to take a little bit of white with that for it to show up better. And I'm just going to do a few little pulls for little flower petals. Maybe they're little daisies. So you can just have a bunch like that. That way you don't have to worry about the legs of the horse. And it makes sense that the legs are in the water anyways amongst these little flowers that are coming from the foreground. You're going to need a little bit of yellow and turquoise and white. We get the center of some of these. So just little dabs like that. And then for a stem. Okay, for the stems, because I'm doing lots of them, I'm going to switch over to my liner brush. You can just pull, flick. I think I'm going to soften this bottom area up here. Make it kind of look blurry by using my mop brush. I'm just going to tap a little bit of my blue in here. I want it to look see-through. So just soften it a little bit like that. Then I'm going to soften back here. So all I have to do is just take a little bit of white, a little bit of water on your brush. I'm going to add some more foliage in here. We need a little bit of something right there, I think. A little bit more. See how much paint I have on the tip of my brush here? Do some little delicate petals that are brighter in color. That will show up a little bit more here, but keeping this blurry. In fact, I want to do a little bit more in here and then make it blurry. So just little dabs like this, and then you can even use your finger to make them blurry. Throw a little finger painting in there. Just a little bit like that. Got a nice filbert here. I'm going to take a little bit of black and green. Blend the two. And right in here. That coming right down. Now I want to add some softness. Highlight right there, a nice little bit of yellow, maybe some turquoise. My paint is, I've been in here so long working on this tutorial that my paint is actually starting to dry. It gets extra thick, it gets to that point where it's really, really thick. And I'm just going to start tapping in a little bit like that. I'll switch back over to my Filbert. Take a bit more yellow. And we can add a little bit of a highlight. Down in here, just brighten these up a little bit. So I wonder what you guys are thinking of this painting. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you to my patrons. And if you haven't joined Patreon yet, please go ahead and check that out. I would really appreciate it. I'm going to take a little bit of phthalo blue and turquoise. Add a little bit. That pretty color up in here. And then a little bit down here. I'm going to pick up a little bit of my magenta with my blue violet and add a bit of that down in here just because it's such a pretty color. And a lot of the time, that's the reason why I'm choosing a color, is because I just think it's pretty. Again, I'm going to add a little bit right up in there. All these little things, these little bits of color, they make our painting special. A little bit more of my magenta and blue violet. You can use phthalo blue too, just for some more flowers over here. So there's a few lines in the background here. This kind of looks like a shooting star. I'm going to leave that there. I think that's really cool. I'm going to call this painting all done, you guys. I had so much fun making this, and I hope you enjoyed watching. Let me know by leaving a comment and by subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. So remember, all the links will be down below for more tutorials I think you may like from my Patreon page. I'd love it if you came over and joined our art community we have over there. And Facebook if you'd like to purchase any of my paintings, and follow me on Instagram for my latest paintings and news. So I'll see you next time, guys. Bye!